Hey guys, and welcome to RF Download, your weekly news update on games and technology. This is your host, Harry, and we're going to give you some of the biggest news from last week. Also, the week just past RF Land. I'm still quite tired from it. Ugh. Anyway, roll the intro. Now I know this bit of news actually came out just before RF Land, but I just didn't have enough time to go through it and learn what's going on, do a bit of research from it. But anyway, if you're planning to buy Ark Survival Evolve from here to its release on August, you might want to sit down because last week the price of Ark Survival Evolve had doubled from $30 US to $60 on Steam a week ago, and basically it actually just brought up to similar prices to your AAA titles. Now on Twitter, the developers, I believe it was Studio Wildcard, they said that they wanted to bring the price up to ensure retail parity for the full launch next month. Now, of course, this is going to bring a lot of criticization. There's a lot of outrage going on. The Steam community were not happy about the price increase. I mean, I've seen like a small surge of negative reviews, seeing like the overall and your recent reviews to mixed now. And your DayZ the creator, Dean Hall, stating that the price increase was outrageous. Of course, there's a lot of negative comments and of this sudden shock of the price increase, but I'm surprised like a couple other developers actually sort of said some positive things about, or not really about positive things, it's more positive points for some reason from the whole Ark Survival Evolve development. Gary Newman, the creator of Garry's Mod and Rust, an early access game, sort of similar with Ark Evolve, Survival Evolve, just without the dinosaurs, has actually replied to Deed's comment on Twitter, like saying they are good at making DLCs, console releases, price hikes, and still on early access, and doesn't seem to hurt them. Maybe we could learn something from them. You know what? I have to go into a rant here, but this price increase is just, I do agree with Dean Hall. It is outrageous. It's not really supporting the community at all. And I've seen it watching over from its initial release. I mean, I've even brought the game on early access. I mean, I can't remember how much it cost me at the time, but it was lower than $30 US, I believe. And it just had an ongoing history of like performance issues, bugs, and despite running on like an Unreal Engine 4, what I've seen and what I'm seeing even now, it still doesn't seem to be a really good looking game for a $60 game. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. And of course, like the Scorched Earth DLC, and that was released last year during early access, and despite it had good sales, I mean, apparently it had lots of sales along with the original game, but it also received a mixed response from the entire community, as most of the negative reviews, they actually wanted the devs to focus on bugs and performance issues just rather than making brand new premium content. And I'm actually with those guys. I mean, as far as I'm aware of, like last time I played it, I don't know about now. It still runs like a performance hog. And yeah, I just don't understand it. It's just crazy, and I don't think the developers are interested on the community. They're just more interested of making a quick buck. And unfortunately, it is business in some sort of ways. But there is a point, like there is a line you draw across between, making tons and tons of money or supporting the community. And obviously, they've gone over that line to get a lot tons and tons of money and try to get as much as they can from the community. So No, no. Honestly, I reckon they can go shove themselves out on the boat, and yeah, just don't support this developer. In my personal opinion, sorry, it is a bit of a rant, but yeah, any games that Studio Warhead, oh sorry, Studio Wildcard, releasing in the future, just don't support them. Honestly, it's just getting more and more ridiculous. Anyway, if you still want to get Ark Survival involved, despite hearing what I said and the recent news here and there, it's coming out on PC. It was on full launch on PC and also making its full launch on Xbox One and PS4. So yeah, just be prepared to fork out that $60 US. I mean, I can think of some other really good games I can fork out that sort of money on. I'm just saying, but there are some better games. Speaking about, well, slightly, probably I could say better games in some ways. Now the 10-hour trial for Mass Effect Andromeda is actually now free for everyone. So this is previously only available for EA Access members, and pretty much you have 10 hours to try out the game, and try out the prologue and try out and give a taste of the whole new world of Mass Effect Andromeda. This is actually more of a spin-off than the original trilogy. It's set a few hundred or so years into the future after the events of number three, but everyone can try it out. Just be prepared to download the full game. Now I did saw some reports on the PS4 version that you do end up downloading the whole game. I don't know about Origin on the PC, but you be prepared to download 50 gigs just to be able to try out a 10-hour trial. But it's your game stays under the trial can be continued should you decide to purchase the full game. Now, Mass Effect Andromeda, it did have slightly mixed reviews. This came out in a really, really bad time on the start of the year. I mean, it came out the same time as A Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Persona 5. Some really, really good games. And yeah, it just got really mixed with its mediocre reviews. It just got left behind pretty bad. But, it was more known for its tons of bugs and its really, really weird animations and some strange voice lines. I mean, there is one I just could not forget, and it's this one.
Sorry, my face is tired from dealing with everything.
What? Now, of course, like all those patches that came out over time, they have improved the animations and some of the voice lines, but these sort of quirks along in the Frostbite engine, it's broken down to a fundamental problem. So, what you see when you play the game, it's probably the best they can probably come up with through this animation system. So, give it a shot. I mean, it's 10 hours. I mean, there'll be plenty of time to try out the whole world and what's available for this trial. So, I might give it a shot one day, but I'm kind of busy with some other games like XCOM 2. I'm trying to prepare myself for the big update. I'm not the update for the big expansion pack. Yeah. Now onto your tech stuff. Now, at the moment, there is a big sale going on with the Oculus Rift. Wait, you said Rift, right? Yeah, I did said the Oculus Rift. Now, the start of the year, they did have a small price drop. I believe it's something to along the lines of like $600 US. I can't remember the top of my head. But at the moment, for the next 5 weeks, the Oculus Rift is now on sale for about $449 US. And that's with the touch controls. Say what? Now, this actually roughly translates to between about $600 and $700 Australian. But that actually makes it the best value VR headset compared to the other two, so your HTC Vive and the PlayStation VR. Now, this is actually really, really great, for those who are waiting for their tax return or who just got their tax return. So, there's that. But but who cares about that when I'm not going to buy a HTC Vive when it's obviously better? Well, it does come with the new touch controls, which I think that from the pictures and some of the videos, it looks really good and very ergonomic, compared to your HTC Vive. And I have played the HTC Vive controls, a fair amount of time. So yeah, the headset, it actually comes with an integrated headphones, so it's all built in, so that's really nice. And also you got your two sensors, so you can actually do room scale VR with the Oculus Rift, like very similar to the HTC Vive, and it is supported under Steam VR. So, and yeah, and then with all the features of the headset itself, it is virtually the same as the HTC Vive. So there's that. Now, what's this? So why are they doing this sort of sale? What's going on? Now I know Facebook has announced for this, planning to do this $200 US VR headset. I have no idea what's to go with that, but we're going to get some new products possibly. I mean, these headsets actually came out. The consumer version actually came out last year. The first consumer version of the Oculus Rift came out about 28th of March, while the HTC Vive actually came out a week after. So we might be getting some new products. The fad, it is sort of calming down the whole hype, the whole VR hype. It is sort of coming down a bit, and I'm not sure what's going to go on with VR. I mean, VR for some games is awesome. I'm talking about, racing games and Elite Dangerous, and some of the room scale games actually seem to do a really good job of using the VR space really well. So there's that. But I just have to wait and see what's going to happen in the near future. Should you want to get? Well, it is cheap. I mean, $600, $700, VR headset with the controls and be able to do your room scale VR. I think that's cheap. So yeah, I reckon so. You should get if you want to get into it. This is a good time to get it. Now a lot of things from AMD, and the biggest thing from AMD for this week is the Ryzen Threadripper. Yes, AMD has actually unveiled some details of the two Ryzen Threadripper SKUs. Now the first one is going to be the Threadripper 1950X, which features a 16-core, 32-thread processor that's clocked at 3.4 gigahertz, which is going to be costing you about $1,000 US, and that's going to be roughly about 1,300, 1,400 Australian dollars. And of course, the 1920X, which is a 12-core, 24-thread processor clocked at 3.5 gigahertz. And that's going to be about $799 US, or about $1,100 Australian, $1,200 give or take. Now this is really good value for money, because considering that both of these processors will have a total frequency of 4 gigahertz, they have a TDP of 180 watts, so they are going to be a bit warm, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure there's some coolers that'll be able to cool it down really well. 64 lanes of PCIe Express 3.0, so that's a lot, and also quad channel DDR4 memory supports. So yeah, these are some serious CPUs, and and Intel is actually finally getting some actual competition, not only for the desktop but also for the high enthusiast boards. And speaking about competition, well, they made a couple of really crude responses. Seems to be they are a little bit salty about over this. Now, one of the slides that Intel actually unveiled on one of the presentations, that they actually tried to criticize Threadripper and also like Epic, the same idea. It's just a glued together CPU die. I mean, really, Intel? Now now the technology behind Threadripper and Ryzen itself, I thought is really great, and it just needs time to mature. But calling that a glued together CPU, I mean, yeah, come on, Intel, I reckon you do better than that. I mean, if you really want to criticize glued together dies, well, Nvidia are thinking about doing like a multi core processor package, like so they'll be combining a bunch of like your lower end GPUs to create like a higher end GPU. So that's that so you could say that their Nvidia might be doing something like that, fusing, gluing, GPU dies together. And Intel, you have done something like that before. I mean, if we really want to stretch it over, I mean, I could say that your development of the Larrabee graphics card, back in 2009, I can really say that that is just a bunch of Pentium cores glued together. I mean, you have done something like that before, so you got these, just yeah, quit your bullshit there, Intel. But I'm just digressing about this. Um, yeah, I'm just really digressing about this really crude slides from Intel. It sounds like they had nothing about this, and they really got caught with their pants down. So I just gotta wait and see what's going to happen. I mean, I can say right now with the release of Ryzen 7 and the upcoming release of the Threadripper SKUs, it's going to be fantastically interesting to watch. Speaking about AMD stuff, there are some leaks about the upcoming Ryzen 3. Now, the two SKUs for the Ryzen 3 so far is like the 1300X and the 1200. Both of these are going to be 4 cores, but single-threaded processors, so 4 cores, 4 threads. The 1300X is going to be clocked at 3.5 gigahertz with a turbo clock at 3.7 gigahertz. And that is rumored to be priced around about $130 US, so which probably makes it around about $170, $180 Australian. So, cheap CPU. While the Ryzen 3 1200, that's going to be a 4 core, also a 4 thread CPU, so single threaded CPU. That's going to be clocked at 3.1 gigahertz, and turboed frequency of 3.4 gigahertz, and that's going to be apparently going to be priced around about $110 US. So about $140, $150 here. So they are cheap CPUs, and they are expected to release at July the 27th. So not far from here. Now, I do have to ask for some of the audience here. Do you happen to have a Ryzen set up? If you do you enjoy it? Leave a comment down below. I really want to know about the Ryzen stuff. I'm very interested in upgrading my main PC to the Ryzen build. Just tell us what sort of Ryzen processor you have, memory and motherboard, and your experience behind it. Yeah, and whatever you've done to it. So you have tried overclocking. So yeah, I just want to know about that. So leave a comment down below if you want. If you can. So I really appreciate the comments. And that's it for the IF download. Now, if there's anything that you want me to talk about or to explore, leave it down the comment down below, and I'll actually read through it. But until then, RFLAN 59 will be out. Will be out on to September 30th. I don't know when tickets are going to be out. Probably about the month beforehand. I do go and make a couple of videos here and there. One big video is our montage from RFLAN 58. Don't know the expected release from that, but I've just sort of resting at the moment and just try to enjoy a couple of games here and there. So, but that'll be out very soon. But other than RFLAN, there's also another upcoming LAN that's happening on August the 5th, and that is Wolves LAN, and they are doing their 80th LAN party. It's a really great LAN party to go down to. A really nice small one to go down to relax and enjoy. Even for us RFLAN volunteers, I mean, there's a lot of work behind the RFLAN events, but going down something like Wolves LAN, it is a nice break for us. And we'd like you guys to come down. I believe tickets are going to be available for $15. So yep, 15. So really cheap. And just a fun day down in Rockingham. Details of the LAN party will be down in the description. So if you are interested, come down and speak to one of us if you're down there. I'll be down there myself, along with some other RFLAN volunteers. So come down. And we'll play some awesome games ourselves. So we'll probably do some Unreal tournaments. So be looking out for you. But until then, this is Harry, and you'll be watching IF Download, and I'll see you guys again next video.